I ran out of space on my camera, so I had to start this over. I never really told anybody why I wasn't driving early. I was just really scared of it. But I worked through some things and work with my parents, and so I do drive. Everything's fine now. I do have things under control, but I do have to be wise about when I can and can't drive. At this point, again, at almost 26 years old, I've had this for my whole life practically, and so I know when I'm feeling too tired. So Kaden says she really wants to know some of the daily struggles that I face having TS, and it'd be really nice to know of some organizations promoting TS awareness. So I can post some stuff in the description box below if you guys want to know anything, but you can also check out my foundation, imafighter.org. I started it when I was like 14, and I just love to just share people's stories and hopefully encourage and inspire other people. As far as the daily struggles that I face, I do have some tics here and there, and sometimes they are a bit more major than I would prefer, but the biggest things for me right now the biggest thing for me right now is probably anxiety, and that's a whole nother video, and I'll probably do it at some point. But honestly, I hope this is encouraging to any young person out there that has any of the same stuff that I have, is that I'm 25 and I live a pretty normal life. I don't really believe there's such thing as normal, but and I'll never be neurotypical, but I live a good life. I have moments of frustration. I do have trouble sleeping. I oftentimes have trouble waking up. I do, panic attacks are not very frequent in my life, but I do have anxiety. I've never really been comfortable at opening up about that, and it's not that I don't want to share that with you guys, but even through all of my openness, there is an element of having to, I can't tell everything on the internet because there is a level of privacy and safety. But I do work through a lot of things with, a counselor and my parents, and through prayer and worship music and my mouthpiece and a lot of different things like that. One of the biggest things for me is just getting injured easily. It's so frustrating because I'm really clumsy and I run into walls a lot and I fall a lot. That has nothing to do with Tourette, I don't think. And so when I do fall, when I do run into walls or whatever, I hurt my wrists. And since I play guitar, I hurt my wrists, and so that's hard because it's just frustrating. So I do wear wrist braces a lot because I do oftentimes cause myself pain just because of a minor tick, because my muscles are so sensitive. A lot of you guys are asking the incredible question of how you can help a friend who is, is going through something like this. Again, in the description box below, I have a podcast and video episode called What Not to Say to a Sick Person, and I think it will be a very helpful video if you guys want to check it out. Okay, and my last and final question comes from bpond2010, and she wants to know, how do you explain Tourette syndrome to younger people that may not understand? And I, not to brag or anything, but my bachelor's degree is in child and youth development and children's ministry. So I, as a children's minister, have had to tell many groups of elementary school, preschool, middle school, high school kids what Tourette syndrome is. The best way that I explain it is at the beginning of this video. But if you're a little younger, this is what I will say to you. I always, I say to them, I say, hey, so how you can tell your, brain, without really even saying it, you can tell your brain to do this. And I always have them raise their hand. I'm like, just do it. Because kids love to do stuff. And I'm like, okay, now do this, raise this hand. And then if they're really silly, then I'll do jumping jacks or, I'll say all of that. And then I'll tell them, I say, well, the part of my brain that does all those things, it works just like yours does, because we just did that together. But there is a part of my brain that doesn't work as well. And everything's not connected the way that it's supposed to be. So sometimes my body will do movements that I didn't really tell my brain to do, but it's because of something called Tourette syndrome. And those movements are called tics. And so I'm just like you. I can do everything that you can do. I can move, I can jump, I can sing, I can dance, I can do all of those things. But sometimes I will do other things called tics, and you know, it is sometimes a little scary for me. So, you know, don't laugh or whatever you say. So that's kind of how I've approached it. You can kind of gauge it, you know, how they're reacting, if they seem scared or nervous. But I like to be honest with kids. I like them to know, like, this can be scary, but you're not going to catch it. It's not contagious. That's another popular question. Is it contagious? No, it's not the flu. So yeah, but I like to be honest with kids. I like them to know what's going on. This is a long video. Kudos to you if you have stayed through the entire thing. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys thank you guys so much for watching this video, for sending in your questions. I'm so sorry if I didn't get to all of them. I might do a part 2, so leave questions in the comments if I didn't answer any of your questions. And
hey guys, I'm just tagging along really quick. So I meant to say this. First of all, I think it's hilarious that I kept talking about how I would have to do a 2-part video when I later just decided to make it a 3-part video because it was so long. But another question that I get all of the time is regarding Tourette syndrome and profanity and cussing. Well, there's something called coprolalia, and I think I said that right, and it affects less than 10% of the people with Tourette syndrome, and that is an involuntary swearing tic. So that's not something that everyone has. Unfortunately, a lot of movies and TV shows like to exploit it and make it seem like it's just Tourette syndrome, but it's coprolalia. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's an associated condition to Tourette syndrome, much like ADHD and OCD. It's just a lot less common. I don't really know a lot about coprolalia, to be honest with you guys. It's not something that I've really studied a lot, but I know it's not very common. I know that it still doesn't mean that it's free for all to just use as a joke in your television shows, and I know that it can be very frustrating for people that have it.
If you want to know more, you can always check out my website, imafighter.org, or my podcast, I'm a Fighter. You can click on the screen to subscribe and watch more videos about me talking about Tourette syndrome. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and I have like all this stuff to do tomorrow, so I have to go. I love you guys so much, and I will see you soon. I miss you already. Bye. I'm a little different.